Okay, we're going to call to order the meeting of the Fall River Redevelopment Authority, Wednesday, January 25th. Recording of the open session can be viewed at Fall River Government Television, www.frgtv.us. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are and therefore advised that such recording or transmission are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. We're going to do a roll call. John Erickson.
Joan Medeiros.
Ron Rusin.
Also participating are Sarah Page, our Executive Director, John Coughlin, our Counsel, Kenny Fiola, Administrative Services Consultant, and Sarah Charest, our Temporary Executive Assistant. We want to talk to the resignation, I guess, of Joe Marshall, our former chairman, who we're going to miss sorely, and we have a little token of our appreciation to present to Joe, which I think you're going to present, right? Yeah.
Well, and then I think Joan's going to.
Oh, Joe's going to?
Oh, I
No,
didn't know.
the mayor first,
Yes.
the mayor first, and then Joe.
I just want to tell everybody that's watching us in the TV land that what a great job this board does week in, week out. I couldn't be more proud of them, their efforts. I know that John, Joan, Louie, and Ann that are not here, the other two that aren't with us are going to be joined by our new member, Ron Rusin, and I can't imagine how far they can take this board. But with that being said, they're going to have some big shoes to fill, because I want to acknowledge the work done while Joe Marshall was the chairman of this board. He did a lot of great things for the city, whether it was the industrial park, whether it was the city pier, whether it was any project in and out. He tried to see it through to the end and make sure all he was focused on was making Fall River a better place to live. I'd like to call him up right now to give him a citation from the city that hope you make it, Joe.
I'm old.
An honor and recognition of your many years of dedicated service and commitment to the city of Fall River and the Redevelopment Authority. I count you as a friend, and I wish you nothing but the best, Joe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I want to say just a couple of words. It's really been a pleasure. I hate my back here. But it's been a pleasure working with everybody here, including Ann and Louise. It's one of the better boards I've ever served on. Everybody had something to offer, and going forward, the city of Fall River can only benefit from this group. Still got a lot of work to do. I'll be watching you anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
One more thing.
Thank you, my
Why don't
pleasure.
you get up?
Thank you, Bob. So, on behalf of the board, we have a little bit of something to commemorate your time with us.
That's nice.
So we put some photos together from the groundbreaking at City Pier that we did during the summer. And, it's been a pleasure working with you as we've been stewards for development in Fall River
Long
over the
time.
past couple of years.
Yeah,
So
long time.
we'd like you to accept this on our
I
behalf
appreciate
as a
that.
board. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Of course,
Joseph, it was a pleasure, my
couldn't have done it
friend.
without you,
Well,
believe it or
we're in
not.
this together.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
See ya.
Thank you.
Good night, Mayor.
Thank you very much. I'll be around.
Yeah, you will. We'll be following you.
I'll be around. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Bye-bye.
We want to introduce our newest board member, Ron Ruskin, and we're really excited about Ron, especially his background in real estate development. I think he's going to be a great addition to the board here, and we're all really looking forward to working with you.
Good, thank you. I look forward to being on this board too. Thank you.
Welcome.
Next item on our agenda is approval of the open session minutes from December 13th. Are there any comments on the minutes?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, I need a motion to approve these minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of the December 13th, 2022 meeting.
A second?
I can't have to abstain because I wasn't here, correct?
So we don't have a majority.
No, you can,
We can
Yeah,
still do
you
that.
gotta- yeah.
you can, the rule is you can approve minutes even if you weren't here.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I second.
Second, okay. So, roll call, John Erickson, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes?
Ron Rusin, yes.
You guys have the warrant.
Mhm.
This meeting totals $70,308.63. Any questions or comments on the warrant? In that case, I need a motion to approve the January warrant.
Motion to approve the January warrant as submitted.
Second.
Second.
John Erickson, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes?
Ron Rusin, yes.
Sarah, do you want to do the update on the recruitment for a project coordinator / executive assistant?
Yes. I want to let you know, I've done quite a bit of interviewing and advertising, and we expect to have 2, but probably 3 second interviews next week. And Johnny and Joan are participating, so we're going to find dates that work. And I'm really encouraged about the candidates that we have.
Did you say 3? Just 3?
Well, I definitely know we want to interview 2, and we may want to interview a 3rd.
Okay. Innovation Way?
So as anticipated, we just wanted to confirm that we closed on a large tract of land that we've been negotiating for quite a while, and we've received the funds as negotiated.
Perfect. City Pier, Phase 4 update on installing the docks. You guys may have seen that the piles went in. Sarah, do you know what the timetable is on the actual docks and the ramp?
Yeah, so I want to say a couple of things about the piles. So you may notice that there are 2 caps on the piles, and they were, we used the absolutely most durable wood that's called Green Heart wood, and it comes from Guyana, and it isn't uniform because it isn't, it isn't put through a mill. And so, so when they were putting the caps on the piles, they're not symmetrical, and so the caps looked odd to me. And so after seeing 2, I said, stop. We want to rethink the design. Johnny agreed that that was a good idea. And I purposely had them leave them on there so that, as we think about a better design, we can see what they look like and really figure out a better solution. And there's a question whether we want them white. I think that's typical of all the local marinas, I understand, or most of them. And but I'm not sure that for our pier we want them white. So we're, if we weren't putting docks in a few months, it might have been a different decision. But given that we're going to have equipment out there anyway for the docks, there was no reason to put in caps that seem to not look great. And we're going to come up with a better solution. And so the docks, we're having a meeting next week to work through design issues and finalize a schedule, but the goal is to get them out to bid in February and, have them installed in the spring. And where the design issues we're looking at are whether they were originally envisioned as wood, but as we've been talking with people who bid on the pile project, they've been encouraging us to think about aluminum because it holds up better. So, and we're also needing to do more work on what exactly kind of gangway we want. We need an 80-foot gangway to make it ADA compliant, and we have some work to do to decide exactly what kind of gangway we want. So that's a big next project to really focus on so that we can get that out to bid quickly. And so we have two funding sources. One is an earmark in the state budget that funds most of the cost of the Pile project. And then we recently got a Seaport Economic Council grant that will fund most of the cost of the docks. And so I am proposing a vote to authorize the chair to sign all the contract documents related to the state funding and the Seaport Economic Council funding so that we can just proceed with all that contract paperwork.
Do we have a motion to authorize the chair to sign?
I'll do it during discussion. The only question I have is, are you gonna need those signed before the next meeting? Because we don't have a chair until the end of next February's meeting.
Yeah, John Coughlin and I talked about that, and Johnny, as the vice chair, can sign in lieu of the chair because he fills in for the chair.
Okay, good. Okay, trying to make sure.
Quick question, those conical caps we're talking about, I imagine they're pointed so that, like, birds don't stay out.
Yes.
Is that the only, like, option, that shape?
Well, you
Tell
can get other shapes, but we have such a problem with birds out there that I think we want that conical shape so they're not nesting and sitting on those and
Okay.
keeping them off as much as we can. Do you not like the conical?
Well, maybe if they're a different color, but they kind
Yeah,
of,
they look-
The color on marinas are white.
Is it?
Specifically because it hides a lot of the seagull.
Oh, is that what it is? Looks like the Conehead family from Saturday Night
Well, I
Live.
know, but if you look at all marinas, they're all white because
Are they?
the seagull excrement,
You don't
as they're
see it.
sitting on there, will not be
Yeah.
as visible. If you have a darker color, then it shows more.
Yeah.
Not to be graphic, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
being honest.
They're probably gonna get dirty anyway, so.
Well, in obsessing about the cones, I got online and found that,
They do jump out at you when you drive by.
I know. So you can get different colors. You can order different colors. So you could conceivably order a gray that kind of matches the pile and wouldn't show seagull stuff too much. But there's not a great solution. And, you know, my issue with the white is,
Huh? I don't, the white doesn't offend me. It's
Yeah.
like, that's, I don't, you know, whatever you want, but that's what marinas have, is white caps, but.
You're a fountain of information.
Huh?
You're a fountain of
Useless,
scatological.
useless information.
Yeah, I didn't give it any thought
Right.
about white. Okay, why not?
Yeah.
did you see them?
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
I could buy there at least once a week,
Yeah,
and
and-
it didn't really stand out, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
It's
I
been,
thought I sent you guys pictures though.
yeah.
well, if you did, there wasn't when with the caps were on. There were, you know, a few days where you could see it without the caps.
So we do need a
So,
motion.
yes, so a motion to authorize the vice chair to sign all contract documents related to the state funding for the piles and the Seaport Economic Council grant for the docks.
Second.
Second. You need a roll call on that?
You need a vote, but you don't have to have a roll call. So you need all in favor or all opposed or a roll call or something.
So all in favor.
Aye.
So, Sarah, do you want to talk about Pleasant Street?
Yes.
So did we vote on that?
We didn't vote on that, no.
No, we need a vote, like, so everybody that say
Yeah.
aye or roll call.
Oh, okay. Oh, we all said aye.
Okay.
Just do the
Aye.
roll call, too.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried.
Yeah, so Pleasant Street roadmap,
So the roadmap is almost done. We're going to get a final draft in the next week or so. And we got a lot of feedback from city staff. We had a meeting, Ken and I, with our colleagues in the city and got a lot more comments and got those to Emily, and she's made changes. So we're really close, thankfully, to having the roadmap finished. And certainly a lot of work has been done on the urban renewal plan, and so that's moving along. What's really hung us up, as you know, is a confusion about MIPA regulations, which were promulgated at the beginning of 2022 after after we entered into this contract with Innes Associates. And it's been really hard to get to the bottom of what MIPA is requiring, because we're really the first organization that's gone through an urban renewal plan under these new requirements. And so we think that we've gotten close to a decision of exactly how we're going to approach it. We've simplified the proposal that Ty and Bond, who are involved in working on this and doing a number of the pieces. For example, they have to do an analysis of climate change implications of our urban renewal plan. And so one of the issues that we're dealing with is, because we're adding a significant amount of work after we already entered into the contract, we're going to need to amend the contract and increase the amount of money. Now, the good news about that is that Mass Housing decided to amend and increase all of the organizations involved in this neighborhood hub grant program. And so the city is going to implement a amendment to our original contract, which was $100,000, and it will become $200,000. So our Mass Housing program officer has been working with me to figure out how much Mass Housing is willing to see us increase the contract with Innes Associates, because it's coming out of that new $200,000, which is really unfortunate, because that money is dedicated to starting to implement the plan. And so we're trying to get that additional cost for the plan down as far as we can, and I'll be bringing that to you at the next meeting. So once we have the roadmap, we'll have a meeting with our team that has a Zoom call to kind of think about where we are in the process, and that's next Wednesday. My assumption is that we'll have the roadmap and we can talk about it. We can talk about our new timeframes for the urban renewal plan, because Emily has figured out timeframes. And I think that we should talk about having another citizens advisory group meeting. And it may be that we do it without Emily, because she has a limit on the number of meetings that are in her contract, and we need to save a couple for later on in the process. So it may be that we should send the roadmap out to our group, call a meeting, and just, find out what they're thinking. But I'm getting emails from people saying, hey, what happened? Where are you? And so I think we need to get everybody back together sometime soon.
Okay. So I need a motion to authorize the vice chair to sign a memorandum of understanding with the city to allow the Redevelopment Authority to be reimbursed under the Neighborhood Hub Grant.
I didn't really speak to that, so let me cover that. So originally we had, so there's an original contract done in 2021 between Mass Housing and the city of Fall River. And in that contract, it specifically says that the Redevelopment Authority is going to do work under this contract, and it includes our bank information for funds to be put into our account by Mass Housing. and it envisions that we will bill Mass Housing directly. We have a new contract officer, and we're doing this new the city is doing a new amendment. And our new contract officer, kind of understandably, feels that there should be a memorandum of understanding between the Redevelopment Authority and the city, explaining that we're doing this work and will be directly billing Mass Housing for this work. And so we've been working on it. It's probably a 2-paragraph document that says that. And I'm going to run it by John, run it by Mass Housing, run it by the city, and, you know, 1 or 2 of you. And then my hope is that we can sign it and, you know, not wait until the next meeting, because I want to just get that in place so we can do some more billing.
Okay.
I make a motion to authorize the vice chair to sign a member of understanding with the city to allow Redevelopment Authority to be reimbursed on the neighborhood hub grant.
Second.
Second. Okay. John Erickson, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Thanks.
Downtown historic.
Yes, so I got an update from Andy Robley, and he is working on section 7 of the plan that will go to the Mass Historic, and he expects to have that done for us to review next week. And then he'll work on the next section and give it to Mass Historic, and after that, we'll have a public meeting. And he's making good progress. He's working on the most difficult parts of the proposal, and he's pretty confident that we're going to be able to get Mass Historic to agree to our having one historic district and not requiring that our expansion creates a second downtown historic district. So that's what he's working on. His proposal will propose why it makes sense for it to be one historic district. He was really happy when he was here to be at the library and find a document that Mass Historic had written itself quite a long time ago that said that there should be one big historic district, which is exactly what we're proposing. So he was thrilled when he found that, because he thought that that would really buttress our case.
Good.
Nice. Vice Chair makes a finding that an open session would have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body. The purpose of the executive session is to approve the executive session minutes from December 13th, 2022, and discuss strategy with respect to potential litigation regarding the city pier project. I need a roll call to enter into executive session and not to return to open session. John Erickson, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes.
Ron Rusin, yes.
Okay.